Lemuel Gulliver was born in Nottinghamshire, England. His parents were of a humble background. They were very happy to have him. Gulliver's parents wanted him to become a surgeon. However, Gulliver often dreamt of voyaging and exploring the seas.
Oh, how I wish to travel across seas and discover lands that no one has before.
Lacking proper guidance for voyage, Gulliver took his parents' advice and became a surgeon. He was one of the finest medics in England. He cared for his patients dearly and treated them well. Yet Gulliver's heart and soul always went out to the sea. He often wondered if he would ever be able to sail on the shiny waters. Years passed. Gulliver was now married and had 2 kids. He was a doting father and a loving husband, but he longed to live his dream. My dear, what is the matter? You look sad.
I have been offered the job of a captain on a ship. I want to take it, but I worry about you and the kids.
You must always follow your heart. If sailing makes you happy, then you must take the job. But promise me you will always return safely to us.
Thank you, dear.
Gulliver waved goodbye to his family and set out to sail the South Seas. He felt like the happiest man in the world, but he was completely unaware of the challenges that lay ahead. That night, a storm hit the sea. Waters rose angrily and the waves dashed at the sides of the ship. In no time, the ship wrecked completely and sank. Gulliver swam for as long as he could to save himself from drowning. While he thought this might be the end of his life, a huge wave pushed him deeper into the sea. Fortunately, it wasn't the end for Gulliver. He was washed over to the shores of an island. He was in a deep sleep. As he opened his eyes, he felt something on his back, but he was too tired to wake up. Some time passed, and Gulliver was finally awake.
I am so tired. What? Why am I tied down in the sand? Oh, my hair!
As he looked down, he was shocked to see a small man, as big as Gulliver's smallest finger, walk towards his face. Gulliver was confused.
Am I dead? Why are people in heaven so small?
Giant, what are you doing on our island of the Lilliputians? Are you here to eat us?
What? No!
Are you here to snatch our island?
What island?
The island of Lilliputians! Wait, I already told you that. Did Blefuscu send you?
What coup?
Giant, tell me your intentions.
My name is Lemuel Gulliver, not Giant. And I am tired. I don't know how I came here. Last I remember, I was in a shipwreck in the South Sea and I drowned.
The soldier could tell that Gulliver was not lying.
We will take Giant Gulliver to the city and let the king decide his fate.
300 horses were brought to drag the huge carriage that the Lilliputians built to move Gulliver. Gulliver was taken through the city. He still didn't believe his eyes.
It surely is the island of Lilliputians. And they look at me like I'm the different one. Strange. If someone else is different to you, then certainly you are different for someone else. Perceptions.
Your Highness, this man says he means no harm to us. In fact, he says his ship was wrecked by the mighty waters and that now he is lost.
We can't just trust him. He is a threat to us. What if Blefuscu has sent him to eat us all?
Your Highness, he doesn't know Blefuscu. He calls it,
coup.
Tell me, Redressel, do you think we should trust him?
He looks scared and confused, Your Highness. And he is our guest after all. We must give him an opportunity to prove himself.
The king walked over to Gulliver. The king was cautious of this huge man with a huge face.
He must be the king. I must be nice to him. My highest regards from England to Your Highness. My name is Lemuel Gulliver. I have visited many far-off lands, Your Highness. But certainly, your kingdom is the most beautiful island I have ever set foot on.
It is the island of Lilliputians. We may be small to you, Lemuel Gulliver, but we are all mighty warriors.
I certainly don't doubt that, Your Highness. For mighty warriors have big hearts, too. I hope this kingdom of big hearts will give me chance to prove my loyalty to the ones who take me as their guest.
The city is watching. I must not make any hurried decisions. He is our guest, and so he shall be treated with respect. But for the safety of Lilliput, shackles should restrict Lemuel Gulliver's movements till we learn more about the strange land he comes from.
The crowd cheered for the king's decision, and Gulliver was relieved. Gulliver was made to stay in a broken temple not far from the city. It was the only structure big enough for him. One shackle was attached to his right foot to restrict his movements. Lilliputians took very good care of their giant guest. Every day, a procession of people used to bring carriages filled with food. They gifted him new clothes by stitching many fabrics together. Lilliputians gathered every day in groups to talk to their giant guest. Gulliver told them interesting stories and made them laugh. He took them up one by one in his palms and gave them the best view of their city. Once, there was an event taking place in the city. Lilliputians were one after the other walking on a tight rope tied up above the ground. They looked scared. Gulliver was confused. He asked the king what was going on.
We Lilliputians are brave and courageous. What you see in front of you, O mighty Lemuel Gulliver, is the test of bravery and loyalty. The one who passes this test will be made the head of defense.
But, Your Highness, this seems dangerous. The rope is hung high. What if they fall? They can hurt themselves bad or lose their lives. Is proving their loyalty more important than their lives?
But Lilliputians are brave and proud, and we have no other way to test their bravery.
Gulliver thought about it for a moment and asked Redressel to bring him a rope. Redressel was happy to help. He too never liked the sport. Gulliver then cut the rope in many pieces and made a safety net out of them. He then put the net under the tightrope tied above.
There, you have it. Now Lilliputians can participate in this sport without risking their lives, and the kingdom will get their head of defense.
The crowd cheered for Gulliver's innovation. As a reward, the king removed the shackles off from Gulliver's feet. Gulliver was now free to roam the island. He was very happy. As time passed, Gulliver won over the Lilliputians. The king now discussed his princely matters with him. Gulliver also learned about the rival island Blefuscu. Lilliput and Blefuscu were both enemies for many years. Gulliver heard all the stories with great interest. One day, Gulliver was summoned immediately to the palace.
Gulliver, you must help us. Blefuscu is attacking us right now.
Gulliver rushed to the shore. He saw that a fleet of ships was coming towards Lilliput. The ships were armed with weapons. This was an invasion. He walked towards the ships with a rope. The Blefuscudians were shocked to see Gulliver.
What is that? How is that so big? Attack!
Ah! Cut it out!
It's not working! Fall back! Fall back!
Gulliver tied all the ships with the ropes and pulled them over his shoulder like a gunny bag. He dragged the ships to the Lilliputian shore. The crowd once again cheered for Gulliver. He had saved lives.
Very well, Lemuel Gulliver.
But why do you stop?
Bring all the ships of Blefuscu here, so that they have no army left to wage war with us in the future.
Forgive me, Your Highness, but it isn't fair. Blefuscu might need the army to protect themselves from other enemies. I brought all the ships that were engaged in the war. Other ships are at the Blefuscudian shore. I can't drag them here.
The king was annoyed at Gulliver for not obeying his command. A few days passed, and Redressal came looking for Gulliver.
Gulliver, listen to me.
Hello, Redressal. Why are you whispering?
No one must know why I was here. I have come to give you a very important message. I heard the king while he discussed you with his council. They are not happy with you.
But why?
Because you disobeyed King's orders by not dragging all the ships out of Blefuscu. Listen, Gulliver, you must get out of Lilliput immediately. This island isn't safe for you now.
But where will I go?
Blefuscu, maybe? I heard the commander of one of the captured ships. He said that he will write to the King of Blefuscu praising your
morality.
You can ask them to build you a boat for your safe return. They are still our enemies, but you are my friend, and I am worried for you.
Thank you, Redressal. I must leave immediately then. I will always remember you, my little friend.
I will remember you too, gentle giant Gulliver.
Gulliver left immediately for Blefuscu. He walked in the waist-deep waters and reached the shores of Blefuscu. He saw that the king was standing on the shore with his entire army.
They must have seen me coming. Why didn't they attack me? Your Highness, I am not here to fight. I am Lemuel Gulliver, and I have come here to ask for your help.
Of course. You saved our ships and our men. I must thank you, Gulliver. I hope I can call you that.
At your service, Your Highness.
Make arrangements for Gulliver's stay.
The next day, Gulliver was standing at the shores of Blefuscu. Suddenly, he saw something floating in the water.
Is that a boat?
He hurried to the king. The king immediately ordered his commander to send at least a dozen ships and drag the floating boat to the shore. He then asked his men to help Gulliver rebuild the boat and promised to give him all the help he needed. Gulliver was happy. He could now go back home and see his family again. It took them a week to rebuild the boat. The boat was strong and big enough for Gulliver. On the orders of the king, Blefuscudians filled the boat with enough water, fruits, and cattle for the journey.
I will never forget your humility, Your Highness.
You are a mighty young man, Gulliver. We will never forget you either. Bon voyage, my friend.
Gulliver waved to the Blefuscudians. He had a lot of good stories for his kids. As Gulliver reached home, he hugged his wife and kids really tight. Gulliver reached Nottinghamshire on the 24th of April, 1702.